Understanding the plants is huge in helping you know what to do for or what to use them for. The doctrine of signatures is the belief that God marked his plants with his signature that shows us what the purpose of that plant was for. 90% of what diseases we have is because of what we do or do not eat. And there is a French saying, and I'm not even going to try to do it, but here it is. And it translates to, tell me what you eat, and I will tell you what you are. And what that means basically is, as I said, the adaptogens, whenever you take these foods into your body, they help your body in ways that medicine never could. You can take all the heart medicine you want from now until the cow jumps over the moon, but that's not going to nourish the heart or give the heart the raw materials for it to heal and be stronger. Only nutrients can do that. Foods and herbs.
Mary?
Yes?
Can I interject here?
Absolutely.
One of the things that I totally agree with what she says. First off, because if you're not getting the right nutrients through food, nutritional changes, et cetera, there's really no reason to go on any further, to try to do anything without making nutritional changes, because we're going to get the most of our nutrients, our vitamins and minerals from the proper foods that deal with the proper body parts or systems.
I agree. Yep, diet is essential. And anyone that you go to, and I hope anyone who comes to these classes never does this themselves, they just say, here, take this herb, without talking about your diet do's and don'ts, are missing the boat.
I agree. I personally think, and I've taught this before to people that I work with, that if you do not work with nutrition, please don't bother. Move on. Go somewhere else and get a different career instead of just pushing drugs or herbs.
I agree. Macrocosms and microcosms. Basically, this has been seen all throughout history. We find these patterns in math. There's patterns in sound, in music. There's patterns in a lot of things. And this is an old saying, as is above, so it is below. And it is what they used to say way back in Hippocrates' time. And what it means basically is this. These patterns, no matter how large, the largest thing we know of in the world is the universe, is our solar system. You have a center, the sun, and then you have planets that twist, they turn, and they follow a route. The smallest thing, like an atom, has a center with electrons that go around it. So can you see how this and this are actually quite similar, just size? But the concept, the pattern of it, it is universal.
And did you know that the part cosm, like macro and micro, we know are large and small, but cosm means order or harmonious relationship.
Good, yeah. As it is above, so it is below. And you will see this in so many things. But basically, and where the first time I saw this was on The Medicine Man. Had Sean Connery. Oh, the man's 2,000 years old. He's still sexy. But anyhow, he played a doctor, and they had one of these little things here that I am circling that I cannot pronounce. And they showed different peaks. And he had found a peak that cured lymphoma or cancers. and they couldn't find that peak again. So this is a machine that can pick up every individual and unique peak, as it were, the vibration, because all these things have different vibrations. Hydrogen has a different vibration, oxygen, and nitrogen, methane, and so on. So each of these peaks indicates a different element. So out of 14,000, we know about what, 1,000th of what is in an avocado. That's just an avocado. The example I use a lot, but I think is just as fascinating, is the English used to be called limeys, because the English would take lime on their boats whenever they'd be out on the sea for a long period of time, because they knew that eating limes could prevent scurvy, which is where the blood vessels break down, the tissue break down. I mean, you can lose limbs and life to scurvy. So they would take limes in their boat. Whenever they realized that it was working for them, and scientists started deciding to take things apart, they decided that it was the vitamin C in the lime that prevented scurvy. So these doctors, or pharmacists, not doctors, pharmacists, was isolating vitamin C and giving it to people. And people were taking it instead of eating things that contained vitamin C. And they found out that these people were still getting scurvy. So they went back and they studied a little longer, a little harder. And they said, you know what? It's actually the bioflavonoids that's with the vitamin C that prevents scurvy. They tried isolating that. Less people got scurvy, but if the person stayed on that alone long enough, they would develop scurvy. Then they studied even further, and they said, you know what? There's something even smaller called rutin, R-U-T-I-N, that's with the bioflavonoids in the vitamin C that prevents scurvy. In the meantime, people who ate lime didn't get scurvy. There is so much that is in foods, and especially herbs, that we don't understand what they are. Apricots. People used to take Laetrile, which is made out of apricots, and they were getting poisoned. I know everybody says, oh, Laetrile was taken off the market because it cures cancer. Well, who knows, that might be part of it, but the fact is, there is a poison, a slight poison in the apricot seed that, if taken in huge amounts, can cause some harm. But the antidote to that is in the apricot itself. So if you would take apricot seeds and eat them, and eat the apricot fruit with it, as far as I know, it's impossible to get poisoned by it. Again, just like the avocado, we are just scratching the surface that's out there. Different things you can tell by the doctrine of signatures that you can use is the color. The color of something gives you certain benefits. The shape of something lets you know, and we'll go these one by one. The smell, the taste, where it has grown, what season you harvested in, what characteristics it has, and what it had to adapt to. All of these things, besides vitamins, besides minerals, besides amino acids, these are extra things that come into play. Things that medicine doesn't have at all. So, color. Remember, as is above, so it is below. This is a rainbow. Or a prism, if you put light through a prism or a rainbow, you'll always end up with red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. They call it the Roy, red, orange, yellow, G for green, Roy G, Biv. So anytime you have a rainbow, you might not be able to see them as clearly because they might be small, but it always splits in this way.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see red, then purple, and then orange, and then yellow. is always like this? Well, the chakras in the body are purple, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. Color produces a vibration. There are machines that can pick up color and translate it into what it is from the vibration of that color. I learned a lot of this from, there's something used to be called Dole, D-O-L-E, from the company that does like the pineapples and stuff. It was called Dole for a Day. And this is where I got most of this information. Blue and purple and black. The pigmentation that causes something to become blue, purple, or black has something in it called anthocyanins. So figs, plums, prunes, grapes, raisins, mangosteen, tigo, eggplant, blackberries, blackcurrant, black raspberries, so on. All are one of these colors. They found out that those anthocyanins is a very powerful antioxidant. It also helps reduce the risk of cancer, stroke, and heart disease. It is believed to help improve your memory, and because it's blue and purple, they have found out, independently, mind you, they found out that the anthocyanins helps with the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, which are blue and purple in the chakras. Is that cool or what? I love this class. Okay, so I have had people, there's this one girl in particular, she came, I'm guessing she was probably about 13, 14 when she came, and she gags on everything. She cannot take a pill. If you had a gun to her head, she could not take a pill. She had a really, really weak pituitary gland. And her mother says, what can we do? I says, well, since she can't take it, we'll wait till she's a little bit older. Just feed her as much blackberries, raspberry, elderberries, things like that as you can get in her. So her mother gave her a lot of these fruits and the vegetable. And you know what? That little girl's pituitary gland started healing. She took no alfalfa or nothing else. Oh, and everyone knows alfalfa is really good for the pituitary gland. Victoria, you grow alfalfa, right?
I do. We do.
What color are the flowers?
Purple, kind of a purple color.
Right, exactly. So anything that has anthocyanins in it is very good for the pituitary gland and the pineal gland. And it also is very high in antioxidants and help prevent these conditions. The color green. The pigmentation comes from chlorophyll and typically lutein. So these are the names of the plants that are green. I don't know of any real green berries that the average person will pick. I'm sure there are some, but I did as much as I could of these. They found out that chlorophyll and lutein help with eye health. It helps prevent birth defects, big time. It also helps prevent cancer, and they're usually very alkalizing. But chlorophyll is basically the green part of a plant. So if you take wheatgrass and you grind it down, the juice, that green stuff, that is chlorophyll. Or if you take alfalfa and you grind it down, that is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the blood of the plant. Chlorophyll taken inside the body helps build your blood. The main difference between chlorophyll in a plant and chlorophyll in the body is chlorophyll has a magnesium base molecule, that's the base, and blood has iron. But the other constitutes is very close to each other. As it is above, so it is below. Okay, orange and yellow. They have carotenoids in them. I'm sure you've heard of beta carotene, that's found in carrots. Carotenoids are very good for the eye. It contains, if you take beta carotene in it and your liver converts it into vitamin A. Have you ever heard someone say, you know, carrots are good for your eyes? Actually, yeah, they are. If you have a working liver, or a liver that's able to do it, when you eat beta carotene, your body converts it into vitamin A. The Lions Club goes around and they go to other countries where these children were going blind because they were lacking vitamin A. They would give them vitamin A, and these children would no longer become blind. I don't think it reverses the blindness, but if you're lacking vitamin A, one of the things that can happen is you can become blind. So just eating these foods, just the color, helps because it contains carotenoids. I know that our foods that are out there in the store aren't always the best, and you can't always get organic foods. But remember, some of the things is just the color. So I still believe in eating a salad, even if it's not 100% organic, because you are going to get benefits from that, besides the fiber, the coloration, for instance. Of course, organic is better, but it's better than nothing. Okay, the color red contains lycopene and anthocyanins. Lycopene helps prevent cancers, especially prostate cancer. I have a book on it, and it talks about how eating red raspberries and eating so many tomatoes a day. They suggest you make it tomato sauce because there's more tomatoes than you usually sit down and eat. How it can prevent prostate cancer. There's a lot of studies on that. It's also good for your heart, which, by the way, is red. It builds and purifies the heart, the blood.
I said it doesn't surprise me at all that many therapies are based on color from the rainbow. After all, the rainbow is God's promise that He would take care of us. Even our food colors resonate. Colors and vibratory rates for healing and body systems. So going back to the beginning with the cosm, meaning order or harmonious relationship, rather blows the Big Bang Theory out of the water, just my opinion.
I agree. The more you learn about all this, the more you realize God created the earth. Foods that have white. And white will also talk about potatoes, even though the outside of potato is brown. You know, and mushrooms are more brown than white, but they do have some white in it. So you add these to this. But foods that are white has anthocyanins in it. And it's very high in minerals. This is, of all the colors, this is the one that is been studied the least.